And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the first big expansion here for Western Legends called Ante. So Western Legends is the definitive game about being out in the wild, wild west. And you can rustle cattle, deliver cattle, you can fight other people, you can have duels, you can play poker. You can't rob trains though. So I want to rob trains, so this lets me do it. This expansion lets you rob trains, adds more characters, adds more item cards, adds a lot of stuff. Let me show you. Okay, so first of all, this adds 2 boards to the main thing. We have this whole Blizzard Gulch board, which is placed here next to the board. Then on the top, you can see that there's a train board attached here. So this adds another city, Blizzard Gulch, and you can now take a tunnel action to go from C to C and from A to A. All right, so then there's also the train up here, which will move along those tracks, coming around like this, around the board. So let's take a look at some of the things that this set adds. So Blizzard Gulch here has a trading post in it. So this is another whole little stand, and what you do at the beginning of the game is you put some items in the trading post, you leave the rest in the general store. So if you want some, you go to one spot, you want some, you go to the other spot. It also comes with some new items here, so let's take a closer look at that. We have the Gazette. It says after you gain this, resolve an event and then discard this after gaining any number of points to gain an extra point of the same type. So that's nice. We also have snake oil here, which you can discard to roll a prospecting die and gain the result. I guess you can get that anywhere, right? And then move the sheriff comes next to you. So you just want to get gold from any old spot. The Derringer is a nice little weapon, and these all have a name side to the back. That's a big Bertha here. You can discard this after you win a fight to get an extra legendary point, which is great. Or after cards are revealed in the fight, you can flip it to its other side to discard your card and replace it with the top card. I don't want that one, I want a different one. Then a great new horse here, the quarter horse, which moves 3. At the end of a move action, you can discard a poker card to go an extra space. So that can move 4, and then the name one, you can flip it to draw a poker card and gain an action. It's really awesome. And that's Bucky there, as opposed to Swift Feet, or Coyote, or Dark Silver, or my favorite, Sugar Stallion. Speaking of event cards, you'll even draw a couple of these that set up here. These will spawn outlaws, or high rollers, or maybe longhorns, or put gold nuggets on the board. This is a nice little deck of event cards included with this set. There's also alternate cards for the deck for poker hand purposes that you can replace the exact same card. So I can replace the 5s or the 7s, etc. I like outfit. Particularly, you gain 10 and then you can do a purchase upgrade action. No matter where you are, or jackpot, after you win at gambling, play this card to gain a gambling point, roll a prospecting die, and gain the result. So jackpot, just fun cards. Give some alternative stuff you can add to your deck. So you saw those event tokens spawn things. There's 4 new types of tokens that are included with the game that will be spawned. You got the claim jumpers that when you go there and try to prospect, you flip it over, woof, you're gonna have to draw 3 cards and fight this guy here. But you can get some good stuff. You get a legendary point if you beat him. Gamblers, where you can go gamble against these guys, but you'll have a better option to get here. You get a gambler point and an item of your choice. Bandits, gain a marshal or 1 a point, draw a poker card. And then longhorns, you can deliver these without, it doesn't affect your other cattle that you do. It will slow you down, but you can deliver them to any of the places where they can be delivered, and then you get a legendary point and $30. And these can be stolen from you and stuff. So this just adds more tokens around the board that you can mess with. We talked about the gambling track here. Players will have a token here, and some things will give you gambler points, and you'll move along this track getting the rewards. Legendary points or legendary tokens. Down here, 2 legendary tokens. In fact, if you get more gambler points, you'll get 2 legendary tokens every time that happens. And at the end of the game, whoever's the farthest on here gets a legendary point. When you gamble, you can normally now do poker games, and you can get gambling points instead of legendary points when you're winning a gambling match. But you can can also play a new game called Pharaoh, which simply put means you're going to draw 4 cards from the deck. Everyone's going to see what they are. Then you bet on these, and you'll flip one card over. Everyone whose card that is will lose this much money, whatever they bet on it. You have these tokens, which are 10s or 20s that you can put on them. Then you flip another card. Everyone who's on that card wins that much money from the bank. And then you have another card, which will give you double or triple that much money. It's very, very just... Try to pick which card you think will be drawn first. I find this game to be very lucky and mundane, but it is based on a historical game that was played back then, and I'm glad we have better games now. At the beginning of the game, you're going to be putting these tokens on all these spots here on the new board because we want to persuade people to come and basically settle the frontier. To do that, players will have to take an action and discard cards from their hand that are equal to the sum of these numbers. And your face cards are worth a 10, and ace is worth 11. So if I had an ace here, I could do this one. And when that happens, you just turn the token over and get what it says. Ooh, this one gives me a longhorn and a legendary point. This one here gives me, oh, same thing. This one gives me 2 gold nuggets and a legendary point. This gives me a longhorn and a legendary token. It says draw 2 legendary tokens and keep 1. Well, that's pretty good stuff. And it's definitely going to make people want to come to this board. And speaking of legendary tokens, these are the tokens from the original game. Legendary tokens and cow tokens. Well, out with those and in with nice new big legendary tokens that they have. And the cattle tokens are much bigger, which I really like because they're a lot easier to stack. Here's a small one compared with the new larger one. And if you look at this board here carefully, you'll see at the very top there's a new color of cattle tokens here that can also be delivered. And so if you're in Buzzard Gulch, you can still deliver cattle. Players are going to be moving a train around the board at the beginning of each turn. Wherever the train is at, if players are at the same spot, they can try to rob the train. They'll draw the top card here. It might be a trap, might have passenger train, cattle train, coal train, army transport. That's a bad idea. Gold shipment, payroll train, and supply train. This will tell me how many cards the other person will draw next to you, and then you'll play one card against the guard card, and this one is very difficult. Well, actually, it's not as difficult as the army transport, so you're going to do this, and then if you win, you get a bonus. Like, look, 80 bucks and 3 1-up points. If you lose, you're arrested. Here you get a 1-up point and a wound. So these can be amazing. The Army Transport doesn't give really good rewards, 20 points and 3 1-up points. But if you lose, you get a 1-up point and 2 wounds. So this is just another thing that you can do as you're moving around the board. There's also several new characters that are included in here. A couple of them are like gambling type of characters. Like this guy, after you gain a gambling point, roll prospecting die and gain the result. If you roll gravel, refill your hand. I really like Soapy Smith. This guy's hand size is increased to 1. He can carry a maximum of 180. But I recommend that you don't carry that much around because people will attack you. If you start your turn in town, she gets $10 or draws a poker card. So there's some neat new people here added to the game. Okay, there is a lot in this expansion, which is fine because the game was a sandbox game anyway. This gives us more things. I have 2 negative things about this expansion, but I do want to say I really like it. But 2 negative things. One, that new game Pharaoh, whatever, I don't care about that. And the other thing is I really wish some of this stuff had been modular. Like, hey, would you like to add Pharaoh? Well, then here's the Pharaoh board. Would you like to add the gambler points? Yeah, it's like an all or nothing type thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it is a whole lot of stuff, and I would not teach someone who's never played Western Legends before everything at once. At the same time, I do like the bigger sandbox now. Now, I can rustle cattle from 3 different locations. I can gamble, and I can do different types of gambling. I can rob the train. I can go fight outlaws. I can go after the claim jumpers. I can just go settle land. I can go capture criminals. Although, the board is bigger now, so now you can run from the sheriff more. If the sheriff's too busy chasing somebody else, maybe I can hightail it out of there. There's more characters, more items. They definitely made the new board inviting to go to because you can settle it. There's a store there that might have something you want there. The event cards are interesting. New stuff pops up. The upgraded stuff like the poker chips is great. Overall, this just adds a lot of cool stuff to the game. If you like Western Legends, you're going to like more stuff. You know, it's like the game Western Legends was very attractive to me because I like that whole old Western, hee-haw, kick the door down, coming with guns a-blazing, whistling the tune in the streets and doing a duel, and the one thing that they have in these old Western movies is they're always robbing trains. Now you can do that. It's random, but there's a lot of random stuff in this game anyhow, and I just like it. It adds a lot of story and fun to the game. So if you have Western Legends, you really got to get this expansion because it's going to give you more of what you want. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.